Sherry, is there a second? See how I'm being removed from the meeting. You know this board can't conduct their business in secret, but they do, because that's what you like, isn't it, Richie? I know you're just following orders like a Nazi. Wasn't that something?
What is the nature of those
I don't
action
know.
items?
I have no idea. All right, guys, I'm out here with Chris Flowers, and he got thrown out of the meeting too. Chris, what did you get thrown out of the meeting for?
I got thrown out because we're switching to a new form of government.
No, do we need to vote on this issue?
Yes.
That's the motion. There's no other discussion.
Move to approve the February 14th, 2023 City Commission meeting minutes.
The first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item C4A.
This is consider approving appointments as recommended by the mayor.
Yes, Mayor. On this one, we have appointments for Community Police Review Board as well as Affordable Housing Advisory Board. I'm speaking in regards to the Community Police Review Board. There are some items that some action items that I've shared with our executive staff and in regards to some action items that I do believe current CPRB members need to go through before we can continue to move forward with any CPRB as well as community work group projects. We haven't been able to execute those, and so until we can get those action items reflected and agreed upon, then I don't want to vote on any appointing of any members as of right now. I know that CPRB is scheduled to meet, I think it's on the 8th or the 9th. So we have a meeting on the 7th. That gives staff a couple more weeks to get those items to us. And if they can do that by our March 7th meeting, I'll be more than happy to vote on these appointees. But until then, I can't affirm these appointees at this time.
Any questions? Not, we'll take public comment.
Yeah, this is Chris Flowers. I mean, I don't know about the appointments, but it seems like we need people being appointed to the Police Review Board. And my question is going to be, there's also the police that new, I forget what it's called. Is it the Police Oversight Board that's
Waiting.
Is that what it, or I'm not allowed to look back, so sorry. But anyway, I think in the article that they haven't met because they're having problems with their membership also. I thought the paper, basically what I'm asking is, if we don't appoint anyone tonight to the Police Review Board, is that also going to set back the Police Oversight Board? Because, I mean, doesn't some of their membership rely on members from the Police Review Board being on that board? And if that board's already been delayed, which I'm pretty sure it has, I don't know if it's a month or 2 months now, but if that board's already being delayed because there aren't people, because they don't have members, and part of them having members relies on there being members in the Police Review Board, it seems like we need to be more emphasis on getting people appointed to the Police Review Board. Thank you.
Other public comment on this?
Can someone enlighten me on these action items? Because they're not on the appointment list. What action items are needed before the mayor can make an appointment? And how dare you try to slow this process down some more? What are you going to do? I told somebody a while back that the CPRB has been doomed by design. And that's really what it is. For 4 years, the design of it has doomed its entire process. So if this appointment doesn't happen tonight, will it delay things? Yes, it's going to delay things. Are things already delayed because of the CPRB missing members? Yes, things are already delayed. There were meetings canceled. Are you missing community advisory members as well? I think you are. That's another problem. But the idea that you guys would delay appointments to the CPRB, which has, you know, maybe it's not a bad idea for you to delay the appointments to the CPRB. I'm going to back up. Maybe it's not a bad idea to delay that. Why doesn't this commission take some responsibility for that process and drag that thing back in here and write a real ordinance? CPRB members cannot investigate. They have no investigative authority. They do not get to independently review the case itself. This is in the bylaws, folks. They do not get to independently review the case itself. What they get to review is the police's investigation of the complaint. Right? Right. So they investigate themselves, they find there's no wrongdoing, and then the police review board gets to review those documents that show that there's no wrongdoing. Nice. So yeah, maybe we need to delay the appointments. And this commission needs to actually write a freaking ordinance, because the ordinance that you have in place right now, there is no oversight. Oversight. There is no oversight to that oversight. The review is reviewing what they've decided already. That's not an oversight process. The citizens need an oversight process. I've got two names of two of the shooters on 21st Street. When I get the third one, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to have a conversation with you, because we're going to find out who dumped his mag. Because that scares the shit out of the public. When you have 5 officers on scene, 3 fire their weapons, I can look wherever I want in this room there. 3 fire their weapons, 1 of those dumps his mag while the other 2 fire 1 shot each. Police Review Board, what are you doing?
Other public comment on this item?
This is Jeremy Rothkushel. I very much agree. It is apparent that the so-called review board was set up to fail. That's become obviously clear. And when I put that together with the history, the actual structurally racist history of the city manager commission form that goes all the way to the top of the country, really. Woodrow Wilson, infamous KKK white supremacist supporter, was one of the early supporters of that form. I begin to see a situation in our government where we the people are being managed as an audience. Now it seems the people are being managed. Remember, that term actually comes out of slavery, really, when there became intermediaries between the slaveholders and the slaves. They were the managers, okay? We the people are being managed in relationship to having proper oversight of the police. Chief, I would ask the commission to command the chief to call for a real public police oversight board. I was very interested to read this book, Police Accountability, The Role of Citizen Oversight by Samuel Walker. Michael showed me a few paragraphs. They were right on in terms of what a real a citizen-oriented oversight police board would look like. And what we've seen, obviously, is we do not have enough oversight. The Bradley Williams situation, that was allowed to fester and fester and fester, passed amongst different law enforcement agencies in our area. He was infamously known. Michael was exposing him on Citizen Press. And it came down not to actually his victims, who had reported him over and over and over again, them being women. Their calls were never really answered properly.
Sheriff's was.
Inside of the Lawrence Police Department, there should have been male police officers who they knew what he was doing. And it came down to female police officers to actually do some whistleblowing on the inside. Now, the fact that we have this quote-unquote review board that was passed under the guise of racial justice, and it's using racial justice and bias-based policing to limit the inquiry of the public's ability to see into what our police department is doing, and then, more importantly, to give it oversight.
Time.
Any other public comment on this item? How about on Zoom?
Stephen Watts.
Hi. Yes, I pulled this item in the original, and the reason that I pulled it was because I had submitted a letter about the recommendation for the CPRB member, and I have learned that I may be in error on that with respect to the credentials of that individual. Therein my reason for pulling this. I believe that the town commission needs to produce a rationalization why somebody is being appointed. And that includes their credentials and why that person has stepped forward to do this. Okay, it's great to say that we volunteer this, that, and the other. Hey, I've been volunteering for the Community Police Review Board since its inception. And I understand that, irrespective, I'm just saying that in the future, could you please identify why you might recommend somebody? I did what I thought was some community due diligence, and the individual does not want to change their LinkedIn resume. I don't know what to do. Anyway, so for that, it's not correct. I should have sent that letter. On the other side of the coin, I don't make any apologies for it on the political side because I'm not informed. That's because the way that people are put on these boards is a joke. It has not been functional in the past. That is why we are now over. That's why we are researching constricting. Now we're going to take 4,000 community boards and make them into 3, which further constricts the ability of the public to say this is what we need to do as we continue to move forward. And Commissioner Summers, what a load of malarkey. What are the action points? What are they? And you're wrong about the minutes. You know what? We had Justice Cracker, Hugo Black, lifetime Ku Klux Klan member and Supreme Court Justice who was tantamount to the 4th Amendment criminalization with the Terry stop process. All of these things are issues that need to be discussed inside the Citizens Review Board, which controls the police department. It tells the police what to do, when to do, if to do. It writes the policies and procedures. It reviews the complaints. There's no question that we need the professionalism of the police community, but their repeated failure to embrace new ways of policing inside a peace-loving community like Lawrence, Kansas, underscores a bankruptcy in leadership by self-identified progressives. Please, this has gone on for 6+ years. Thank you for your time.
Any other public comment on Zoom?
That's it, Mayor.
Bring back to
Commission. Well, I'd like to have a vote on this. I think the candidates are good. And also it'll give them time to start being exposed to how the training goes for these board members, and so they could be more prepared for their first meeting.
Well, Mayor, I never said that the candidates were not qualified. I know there are some matters in regards to the CPRB that I'm awaiting answers to, and until I get those answers, I don't feel comfortable appointing anyone to the CPRB. So I do believe I stated before, I said we have a meeting on the 7th. CPRB is scheduled to meet on the 9th. We'll be missing a week and a half. I do believe in the bylaws, CPRB gets 6 months to produce training for one activity and 30 days for another, so we're not impeding too much between the next meeting, which is in April. They would have 30 days to complete that set training. based on their appointment, so there's really no delay per se. And as I've stated, I do believe the candidates are qualified. There are items that I would like to hear answers back from before I make an appointment. While it is your duty to review and to produce candidates for appointment, it is our duty as commissioners, however much we take of it, to do our due diligence to make that confirmation affirmative. At this time, that is not an affirmative for me. But a roll call vote, I have no...
Mayor, I have a point of order. There's some...
Excuse me.
Mayor, I have-
Sir, you're out of order.
I
You're
have
out
a
of, you're out of
point-
order.
I have a
You're out
point of order.
Sir, you're out of order, and this is your warning. Sorry, go ahead, Commissioner.
He had a point of order. He had a point of order.
I completed my thoughts.
Is that it? Okay,
That was
thank
it.
you. Any other commissioners?
So Robert's rules don't count?
Yeah.
Well, I would just say, I think the CPRB is an active board at the moment that doesn't have enough members, and the mayor has appointed people as nominated folks who I think are qualified. Certainly if there was a discussion on the 7th or some other time about the CPRB and otherwise, certainly take that up. But until then, I'll go ahead and support the appointments so we can get the people on the board and move it forward.
Any other discussion? No more
Sorry, I'm just trying to cogitate. I apologize, Mayor. I do think there's a lot with this board to unpack. This isn't necessarily the space for that. For us to give direction on what we do or don't think's happening there, any of the nuanced things that there might be, there are places where we need to give direction. How can we make space for ourselves to do that? I do feel like there's been a lot of lack of direction or infighting, but I don't think right here appointing these two people is the way to take control of that, or to take responsibility for which part is ours. So how can we make space to do that?
Commission items?
Yeah, there's an interesting, but I think in the long run questionable idea that the city commission should take responsibility for it. Sounds cool when you say it like that, but I can tell you right now that it doesn't matter what you do, it will lack transparency. So I just want to make sure we give some kind of real direction here, or make space for it on commission items.
You mean like the public knowing secret action points?
Yeah, what are those? That's what we're trying to find out.
Sir, I would like you removed from the building, please. Officer?
Mayor, did you want to take a recess?
So you're going to throw me out of the building for trying to find out what
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna
secret
recess. I
action
want to
order points
recess and have
are
this gentleman removed from
in the middle
from
of the meeting?
Are we allowed to know those?
Secret action items, and I'm getting thrown out. Nice. See how I'm being removed from the meeting. See how I'm being removed from the meeting. You know this board can't conduct their business in secret, but they do, because that's what you like, isn't it, Richie? You gotta throw me out of the whole building again, right? Yeah, out of the whole building again. That's cool. I know you're just following orders like a Nazi. Wasn't that something?
What is the nature of those
I don't
action
know.
items?
I have no idea. All right, guys, I'm out here with Chris Flowers, and he got thrown out of the meeting too. Chris, what did you get thrown out of the meeting for?
I got thrown out because we're switching to a new form of government, potentially. But the way they have it set up now is that the top two vote, when we switch over to the hybrid system, the top two vote getters in an at-large election will be appointed to districts instead of at-larges. And what I got kicked out for, they had their talk, they had their discussion. And then finally I said, but why is it necessary that we're putting the top two who win an at-large election, why are we putting them into districts instead of at-large?
And they just throw you out for that?
Yeah, but I mean, I'd already talked.
Ah.
And they were telling me to stop, but I kept going because it's absolute bullshit. Let me tell you why. Because it's possible, like last election, Amber Sellers did poorly in West Lawrence, but she did very well in East Lawrence. But she lives in West Lawrence. So if she finished in the top two, she would be pointed into the district that last time did not want her. Is that fair?
No.